So now we are moving maybe more towards the core of Arthur Jafa's work, the world of images, this incredible exercise in visual literacy, in iconography, or I would even say iconology of now. The work that you see behind me is called Apex. It's a collection of, I believe, 481 photographs that Arthur Jafa has gathered over the years. For me, it's a very, very important work. Why? Maybe in the same way than the back of ex-slave Gordon contain the entire aesthetic and ethical program of Jafa. Apex, behind me, which is also a film on view in the exhibition, is the data of Jafa's work. From these body of images, the entire work is going to expand. The entire work expands. It's a matrix, if you want, of the work. In many ways, it actually reminds me, and again, I think Jafa is fully aware of that. Apex reminds me of a very important work by the German painter Gerhard Richter. This work by Richter is called Atlas. Atlas almost functions the same way for Richter. Atlas is a monumental work by the painter, Richter, thousands of photographs on which he has painted, thousands of photographs that he has accumulated over the years as source material for his work. And from this atlas, Richter has developed, and I believe continues to develop, the work he's doing now. When I look at Apex, one of the first things I see when I look at it, and I don't think, again, it's by chance, it's an image of a Richter painting. And it's not any Richter painting. It's not an image of this work by Richter called Atlas. It's an image of a body of work that Richter has done years ago, from painting made from images of the dead body of the Baader-Meinhof group, the German Baader-Meinhof terrorist group, when they were found dead in a prison cell. Richter developed an entire body of work around this event. Why I found that interesting? Because that was maybe one of the most political work that Richter has ever done. It's a work about violence, about death inflicted upon bodies. And for me, it's not by chance that this specific image from this Richter work is in this body. But what makes this work, Apex, even more complicated is the category of images that you find here. Of course, the stereotype, I would say, or the image of what Arthur Jafa is doing is that it's centered around an iconography of Black America, of African American bodies, of the history of slavery. But again, when you look at this body of work, this body of images, you understand that his range is extremely broad, because from this body of images, of course, you find images that you would expect to find. Images of black bodies, of black superstars, of black musicians. But then, as I say, you find also images of a Gerhard Richter painting. And you also find what we were talking about earlier, this confrontation of ex-slave Gordon with the Joy Division album. And that shows you how much deliberate Arthur Jafa is in the production of his work. He was a cinematographer, so he's very fluent in the language of editing. So everything you see here, the way an image is juxtaposed to the other one, is not innocent. Everything like you would see in the films is extremely thought through. Actually, what's interesting here, of course, are the images, but it's the space between the images. What is the thought process that takes you from one image to the other? And the confrontations are endless. You find the body of an image of Batman, you find images of Blade Runner, you find images of the Japanese artist Takashi Murakami, you find images of Mickey Mouse, you find fashion shows, and you find, which might be also extremely interesting at this moment of time, as the entire world right now is terrified by one body, one invisible body that has frozen the world, a body we cannot understand. You find in this apex, in this data of images of microscopic bodies, microbes, germs, viruses that are all around us and are, quote unquote, an invisible body.